these things want, and why are they here?
You still don't get it, do you, boy?
They have recruited the rich and the powerful.
They're running the whole show.
Wake up! They're all about you, all around you.
That movie was I was enraged about Reaganism, or Thatcherism if you're from England, but Reaganism. And everybody adopted it. And everybody was just swinging along happily in this unrestrained capitalism. And the thing is, it's never ended. It still happens today. A lot of our problems are the result of that.
I wanted to do this unique fight, and I brought Jeff Amata in, and I brought Roddy in, and we all sat around and talked about it, about what would make a fight unique in the sense that you haven't seen anything like this. And I wanted to utilize some of Roddy's professional wrestling techniques and knowledge. All right. And then pull him up.
In the end, it's simply a science fiction movie, a cheap science fiction movie with a wrestler as the star, with a great fight scene. I'm very proud of that scene. But underneath, it's a critique of what happened to America in the 80s.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I started making, The Thing was my first studio film. Then I made a whole bunch of them after that. Christine, Starman, Big Trouble in Little China were all studio movies. Well, yeah, I've been lucky all my career that I didn't have any more interference than I did in that time. They pretty much gave me my way on those films. I got to do what I wanted to do. Even on The Thing, I got to do what I wanted to do. And constantly thereafter, up until, kind of the last few years, until the very end of my career, kind of. And then people are more interested in putting their thumbprint on it. But I've been really lucky that way.
I don't think he's gonna stop.
Look, filmmaking is filmmaking. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you have a very little money, you try to tell a littler story. If you have a big amount of money, well, then you can tell a bigger story. You can have a lot more lavish sets and effects and more time, which is a luxury. I got fed up with the studio system in the mid-'80s, so I went back to independent filmmaking. I made Prince of Darkness and They Live. And Village of the Damned was part and parcel of that. That really wasn't a studio film per se. That was an independent film. But Memoirs of an Invisible Man and Ghosts of Mars were both big studio films.
Action!
I gotta do that again. I'm all up.
We're gonna argue about this. Yeah, I'm gonna fire off a couple squibs on the top of it.
Are you doing the little thumb action now?
Okay, here we go. Action!
Excuse me. Is that our men's room?
Yeah, it's just down the hall.
1, 2, 3! Cut! Good.
Memoirs of an Invisible Man, I did not have any freedom. The star of the movie was the producer of the movie. And that's difficult. And it's a big studio. But I got through it. I made it. I didn't want to make movies anymore after that for a while, but I got through it. And I'm happy with the film. I got to work with Bill Fraker. I got to work with a lot of talented people in that movie, so it turned out okay.
Welcome to the ward. Your new home.
Why am I here?
You can't get them to tell you anything. Sometimes they take people away, they don't come back.
Well, the ward came at an odd time. I stopped after Ghosts of Mars. I got burned out. I can't do this anymore. I'm getting too old for this. I had to quit for a while because I had been working constantly since the 70s. So I took some time off. I did a couple of TV things, the Masters of Horror episodes that I did, Cigarette Burns and Pro-Life. And that got me interested in getting back on the floor again and shooting. I had a good time. Oh, this is fun again. Maybe I can do something small. And the word came along, and it was a small film, but it had an ensemble female cast I had not worked with before. Hadn't done a film like that before, so I thought, well, why not?
What is her story?
Oh, she's just crazy. Like me. And you. And like all of us.
It was new and different for me. I hadn't done it before, and it was fun. The actresses are really talented. I love working with them. Plus, it's much more fun if you have to get up at 5 in the morning to go be around a bunch of girls than it is a bunch of guys. It's just more fun. If your movie is good enough, it'll get shown and appreciated. And if it's not good enough or it doesn't move an audience, it won't. The audiences are attracted to certain stories and attracted to the way you do them. But if you do a small micro-budget movie, but it really works, well, the audience will be there for it. Oh, well, I've come to a great place in my life. Look, I've done a whole bunch of movies, and I'm very proud of my work. I don't have to work again if I don't want to. And if the right project comes along and I'm feeling good about it, I'll go make it. But it's not I don't have to prove it anymore to myself. So I'm happy.
Sutter Kane's missing.
Who?
Sutter Kane.
Do you read Sutter Kane?
Well, generally speaking, well, I had this interview with the New York Times a few months ago, and the interviewer thought that horror films get too much respect now. That's what he said. Everybody thinks they're works of art now, and they're too much respect. And I thought, what the fuck are you talking about? I think they should be where they are because they should sort of remain a guilty pleasure for you. They shouldn't be so mainstream. They've tried to do kind of PG horror, and I'm not a fan of it particularly. Although some of the great horror films were G-rated, but I think it should stay where it is.
His nightmare has just begun.
Who are you?
John Carpenter's escape from New York.
Heard you were dead.
John Carpenter's escape from New York, the greatest escape of them all, is about to blow the future apart.
Essentially, the stories are pretty much the same. There's a lot of sequel making now, and sure thing type filmmaking. But there's still adventurous movies being made, and some independent films are very adventurous, and still some great movies being made. So in that sense, cinema hasn't changed. The storytelling techniques are still basically the same, but the technology swirling around cinema has vastly changed. Well, I think that one of the major changes that has affected everybody is this new technology that we have now. There's been a democratization of filmmaking in a big way since the 80s, but everybody can make their own movie with the equipment available and get it, and if it's good enough, get it released. Everybody can make a horror film or a science fiction movie. The internet, the computer graphics. It's this massive change. And now most theaters are projecting digital in the United States, which is it's just shocking. It's just a change from when I was young. I grew up in a system. It was all 35 millimeter film. And now I'm ending my career in a system that's vastly different in that way. And that's changed a lot of the style of filmmaking and the techniques of filmmaking.